Okay, we're going to go make sure I have my video here. Let's see what else we need to have in here. All right. How are you guys doing? Let me see. I want to make sure I see you guys. Okay. It's great when you have about 5 different screens running at the same time. Today is Tuesday. Hope guys had an amazing Thanksgiving. Always grateful for where we are today. Good morning, Marsha, Miss Marita. How you guys doing? I hope you guys had an amazing weekend. Always grateful for everything and every day of my life. But most importantly, I'm grateful for you guys today here. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being here. Make sure we share. It's funny that a lot of times when you want to, this morning I woke up and I was wondering, what do I want to really talk about and how can I help impact my community, my family, my online family, which is you guys, right? And so, sometimes we figure out what is that one thing that we can actually say to change somebody's mind, somebody's life, somebody's business, right? What do you say to them, right? And I take it very, to me it's important that I show up with the right attitude, that I show up with Thanksgiving in my heart, that I show up with how much value can I offer and what I can do to impact people, right? Because I think at the end of the day, that's what we're here for. I mean, if we're doing it for any other reason, I think it'll show up very obvious, right? To do things like that. So, I'm definitely grateful for next level leadership. It's 10:02, so I'm gonna get to work. Focus today. I'm gonna go all out today, and I'm hoping that for the season that we're coming into, which is gonna be a lot of holidays, a lot of things happening. Um, what are you focusing on, right? Do you focus on the food? Or are you focusing on, oh my God, I got to go to this party and this party and this party? What are you focusing on, right? And the reason why is because I believe that what we focus on magnifies. What we focus on magnifies, right? So let's get to work on next level leadership. Of course, there is a better way. Of course, there's a better way. But if we focus in on the better way versus every other way, then maybe we can find that success that we're looking for. And that's why, to me, today is very important, because coming into this season, it has to be something very, how do we stay on track with our goals, or how do we shift? Because you may be having your goals for this season, right? But then you already know so many things are happening. So are you shifting? And maybe you're not really where you want to be in your business or in your life, and you're like, how do I get into that, right? And I found a couple of things that are very important to get there, right? And of course, yes, there is a better way to do business and to do life, and that's where the community, and that's where the next level leadership to me is. Of course, the thing, well, for the technology nowadays is amazing that we can reach the world, right? We can change the world from online. Don't believe me, there's a lot of people doing it online. A lot of people are changing lives online, and you're here online, right? So, I think what you want to focus on, you want to think to yourself is, why am I here for? Like, why am I joining next level leadership? Mr. Emmanuel, how are you? And Sandy and Marita, what we focus on magnifies. So that's what, what I want to talk about today. So stay with me on that. Next level leadership, please make sure you always like when you like the page, and if you want to see it often, and if you want to focus on seeing the next level leadership first, if you're focusing on taking your life to the next level, we got to shift into what we're focusing on, what we're thinking about all the time. Because as we think about those things, they magnify, whether you like it or not. Okay. And I'm going to put some other things that I want to share with you guys and so forth. Of course, we already know right systems equals freedom, but not only right systems on the technology part, because I'm a techie guy, right? And I believe that you have to have the right systems online to be able to have that freedom, because one thing you can never change is your time, right? You cannot change your time. And when I took a course around 2 years ago, he showed me how I needed to, going into this hiring VAs, right, to leverage my time, right? So I can do more of what I'm good at, which is getting in front of clients, helping them, getting the campaigns running, doing all the things that I do on a daily basis. But I'm so grateful to have all these virtual assistants that be able to help me. Talking about virtual assistants, I know you guys, I'm not sure if you guys know, but right systems equals freedom. You can have all the technology in the world, but if you don't have the time to manage it, what do you do, right? Like, or how do you do it? Or do you need to learn a new system? And so next level leadership, and I have somebody in here like Mr. Emmanuel, that we're working with a organization in Nigeria, that we're going to be able to create this virtual assistant systems with the next level leadership to be able to help you and those people around you. Because I've learned one thing: if you don't leverage your time, then you're going to be doing these little things all the time. Example, do you think the CEO of the companies, like the big corporation, the 500 companies, are the CEOs doing all this other work, or they hire people to do all this different work, right? Sometimes we are a small business because we think, well, we're a small business, right? But think about this: if you focus on, if you shift it and you say, I need a VA, right? And they're very inexpensive when you're doing it in other parts of the country. Like I have VAs in South America, I have VAs in Indonesia. We have a VA group starting in little hubs that we're starting off with Nigeria. So we're training them and everything for what? So that way they can get good at what they're good at, and then we can focus on what we're good at. So let's say, for example, I'm going to use Mr. Emmanuel for an example that's on here, right? If I hire him and to do my work for 10 hours a week, and I say, well, 10 hours a week, that's a lot. That's going to cost me ABC, right? Well, if it's costing you ABC, what's costing you in your time? Because our time is also valuable, right? Our time, let's just say, for example, if I'm doing all the work myself, right? Oh my God, I'm so grateful for my VAs to be able to help me with all that stuff. Because then if that wasn't the case, I would have to be doing it. And if I'm doing it, then I'm not focusing on bringing more sales. Because if I did my math and I say, if I bring one more sale a month, I can pay a VA for the whole month. So that's something that we got to look at. But, so right system is equal freedom, but you got to figure out what you're focusing on. And then we're going to go very deep into that focusing on, okay? Because I believe that that's one of the biggest hindrances. For myself, I was hurting myself when I wasn't focusing on the right thing. So I'm hoping to share some things with you guys today that make sense for coming into the end of 2021 and 2022. Deal? Are you guys ready? Let's put our seatbelts on, right? And get ready to go for the ride, okay? So here we go. I don't want to look at myself. I want to make sure that I'm seeing some comments. So you guys want to make sure you comment, make sure you're on there. So that way I see you on there. Okay. Let me see. I want to make sure I see that. I don't want to share a presentation today. I want to speak to you guys from my heart. That okay with you guys? That all right? Okay, great. Because I think it needs to be, I wanted to do something specific to help all of us take 2021, end it, and start with 2022 in the right framework, in the right mindset. Because if we don't, we're always gonna blame it on the technology. We're always good at blaming other things other than ourselves. Yes or no? At least it's been for me. Maybe you're different. Maybe you don't do that. But I myself found myself doing that all the time, and I was like, oh no, what am I doing, right? And so if we don't focus, if we don't know what we're focusing on 100%, then what happens is that we get very distracted. Okay, so let's talk about why. Focus on. Have you guys ever bought a car? I just did that, right? And I bought this kind of car Because I'm like, there's not too many people in San Antonio that have that car. You guys know where I'm going to with this, right? And then you buy the car, you pull out of the driveway, and you go, that's my car. I don't know if it has happened to you before, but it definitely has happened to me. And I'm like, isn't that weird? Because what we focus on magnifies. Okay? Whether we're focusing on the positive of next level leadership, or you're focusing on the negativity of next level leadership, because I don't think that, and I think Mr. Chad Shapiro can agree, that none of us are perfect. And next level leadership, I know that he says he's not. I know that I say I'm not. So if I'm focusing on my negativity, my things that I need to get better at, what do you think is going to happen? But most of us are focusing on the wrong things, right? Example, let's use some examples, right? Let's say, for example, we're focusing on, let's talk about business. We're focusing on how do I grow my business? And you're focusing on, well, the way to grow a business is make more sales, right? Yes or no? Of course. Let's all be honest. If you ask any small business and you say, how can I help you? Bring me more sales. Believe me, that's why lead generation is just like so many. I see this 22, 21-year-old kids jumping into the internet and saying, I'm a lead generation agency. Really? Well, lead generation is not the problem. Okay, so they go into fixing your problem, which was lead generation, which was bringing leads. But the problem was your focus was in the wrong place. What if your focus is in the wrong place? I know you guys heard of the 80-20 rule, that 80% of the revenue comes from 20% of what you're doing on a daily basis. In other words, the 80-20 to me is like the focus, right? If you're focusing on the 80, guess what you're going to get? But if you're focusing on the 20% of what you're doing on a daily basis that brings the revenue, your business will change, right? But now it's understanding, what is that 20%? Well, I think that we need to figure that one out on our own, because that 20% could be something that I'm doing already. And maybe everybody wants that overnight success. I don't know how many times you guys probably agree with me that you got online, you see on Facebook and says, you want to learn how to make 6 figures in 7 days or in 30 days? You've seen that all over the place. The reason why they're saying that is because as entrepreneurs, what is our focus? 6 figures. How do I get to 6 figures? You're not even thinking about going to 5 figures or 4 figures, right? You're not thinking about making $1,000. You want to go to 6 figures already. So what happens is that we're focusing on that 6 figures before getting to the 5 figures. What you're focusing on is getting to somewhere where you're not prepared to go. And if you're not prepared to go there, what's going to happen when you pull the trigger and you start doing all this stuff? You start blaming the systems, you start blaming the company, you start blaming everything but where the 20% focus should be at. And it's easy. I always believe, and I know you guys can agree with me on that, but if you're not mapping out your 20%, then you could be struggling a lot, because you're thinking that I should know what the 20% is, which you should know, but are you really doing it? You know, they say that the 20% in a business is broken down in 5 areas, right? Yes, more leads, but also with those leads, Leads do not pay my bills. That's why they're so easy to get. You can buy a list of leads. As a matter of fact, I just bought 10,000 leads right now. Last night, I bought 10,000 leads for all my clients, all my coaches. But what we need is actually, when we get those leads, how do we get more conversions, more transactions, more profits in those areas? And if you don't have a framework, if you haven't mapped it out, the problem is you're focusing on the wrong thing. You're focusing on just getting leads, but it's like a bucket. If you could throw all this water in there, but if it has a hole in it, within 30 minutes, your bucket be empty, right? And you're like, what just happened, right? I don't know if you guys have experienced that, but I have. So in my experience, what we focus on magnifies. So a lot of us may be focusing on also, I know when we start our own small business, we're thinking money. We're thinking, how do I generate the next 5 figures, 6 figures, 7 figures? What if that's not supposed to be the focus? What is the focus should be in helping other people? Whether you give this in marketing, whether you give this in lead generation, if your focus is on health, if your focus is on whatever it is, we all have that gift, right? What if your focus is in the wrong place? So what if you knew that you don't know what your focus should be on? What do? Because the problem is, when we jump into trainings like Next Level Leadership, you're getting this information, but as soon as it's over, we're gonna watch go wash the dishes, or go do this, or go talk to so. I gotta text my mom. Oh, by the way, I gotta text my mom. See what I'm saying? Like, I just thought about it. My mommy wasn't feeling good, so I'm already shifting my focus, what I need to do after I get off the call. But we're not writing it down and says, what do I need to do for 2022 to be better than 2021? Is if your 2021 has been going up or going down. If it's going up, stay doing what you're doing. Increase what you're doing. Stay focused, okay? If your business is steady, you need to do some shifting. You got to figure out what your leak is at. Where do you have the hole in your business? Got it? But if your business is going up, stay where you're doing, increase what you're doing. But if your business is going down or steady, something needs to change. So how do you know what needs to change? Because you're focusing on the same thing. And there's a saying that says you can't keep doing the same thing, expecting something else to happen, to change for 2022, right? So 2022, if you want 2022 to be better, then we need to figure out what needs to change. I don't believe for a second that it's the companies that we're with. Why? Why are some people in our companies being successful and some of them are not? The focus is different. They're focusing on money, they're focusing on sales and so forth. When the first thing I tell a person that says, show me your sales framework, show me your sales process. Because if you don't have one, that means your focus is everywhere, because you don't have a straight focus. You don't have a path. Like when you get in your car and you say, I want to go to 123 Test Street, right? And if you're doing that, where do you think that GPS is going to take you? 123 Test Street, right? But if you don't have a GPS, where do you think you're going to go? You're going to be driving around circles and circles and circles. Are you going to get to where you need to get to? Maybe. I don't know that things are how they used to be. I remember we were talking about this the other day. You get I forgot what it was. It wasn't a GPS, but it was, I forgot what it was. So we used to print out the map and the road to get there, right? What if you don't have a roadmap for success? What if you just think you still just getting on calls and searching the internet? If you whatever you want to find, you're gonna find it. If you want to find somebody to tell you that what I'm saying is wrong, you're probably gonna find somebody then, because there's everything on there. That's why it's so important to stay focused on who you listen to, what do you listen to, where do you listen to them, and is that person credible? Are they helping you get there, right? My only intention here is to help you, and the only reason I'm sharing this with you is because these are things that I've seen some of the 6 and 7 figures doing it. So, and listening to the right people, right? Like if I want to learn how to convert more customers from a company, well, I want to go find the top producers in that company and start hanging around with them, start watching them, and start listening to them. Remember that Tony Robbins says, go find what the successful people are doing and imitate the process. You don't need to copy, but you imitate. Why? Because their focus is in the right place. Sometimes we need to be aware of those blind spots that we think we know it all. We think we know what's right for, like I could think I don't know what's right for Mr. Emmanuel and Miss Marita and maybe I don't. Maybe I need to focus on first, it's on me first. Like what do I need to focus on? And when I fix it, I can help and share with people how I fix that problem, right? That's why it's very important to find out what the coaches or people that you're listening to are telling you the right things. So I found this out and I just didn't, I just put a presentation together and I did. No, before I did that, I'm like, is this true or not? Why is it true or why can it not be true, right? And most of us, it just, oh my God, that's awesome. He did that and boom, we fly towards that. The next shining object, right? But instead of fixing what we need to work on and focusing on what we need to focus on our business first, then you can actually start knowing and having a roadmap for success. If you don't plan, you plan to fail, right? How many of us, if I was to tell you to give me a thumbs up, would truly, really say that you have a roadmap for 2022, that you know what you need to do for 22 in your business? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to call you out and I'm not going to call myself out, because what I need to do is I need to analyze right now is actually what's working for 2022 and what's not working. How do I fix what's broken first before I go try to bring more leads into it, right? As a matter of fact, I was talking to myself this morning. I was like, I did fix a little problem that I had with some help that I had, and it hurt me I had to do that, but it had to be done because my growth for 2022 has to be with the right people, right? The right community, the right systems, the right everything in the area, right? But I need to focus on what's right, and then the what's wrong, kind of like just chop it down and help it grow again in the right way, right? It's the only way we can do it. But if we're not taking into consideration what really is working in our business and what's not, we're just going online with listening to A person, B person, C person, D person. It doesn't matter who we're listening to. Our focus needs to be is like, where do I need to focus on to build my business? Now, if your focus is not 100% in building a business, then it's really not a business. It's a hobby, right? It's a hobby because sometimes, I don't know how many of us, you go work out, 2 days a week. If working out 2 days a week is really a hobby more than, hey, let me go check this out. Let me go biking. Let me go do. It's not a commitment. It's really just a hobby, right? So when you go into a business, if you're not in 100%, if you're in it 20%, you're going to get out 20%. If you focus on 50%, that's what you're going to get is 50%. What we focus on magnifies. I gave you the example of the car, right? It's funny because also sometimes in relationships, what we focus, now we're going deep, right? Now we're going deep. We wonder why we are attracted to certain people. And sometimes you're like, man, I never want to be like that person. Why don't you want to be like that person? They're rude. They're too blunt. They're ABC. We're focusing on their negativity instead of focusing on what good they can be. All of us have a special gift, right? And nobody's perfect, right? What we need to focus on is, how can I change my business? Example, if you're part of Next Level Leadership, how can you be part of solving the problems versus criticizing those little things? Maybe me. Javier talks too much, or Javier doesn't talk enough, or he has an accent, or whatever it is, right? You know, I learned one thing in marketing and getting in front of people. Before they point fingers at you, you point them at yourself first. I learned that because now I can laugh at them, right? So like, oh, how did he know that, right? Like, focus on me now, right? Focus on me now. And I learned that, you know, to do presentations, you want to be exciting. You don't want to sit front and like, because what would you be focused on if I go like this and I say, you know, guys, and I'm not looking at you. I'm engaging with you, right, Miss Marita? See, Susanna put why. Miss Marita said exactly. You need to focus on other people because I want to know what people are thinking, right? So how I can become better. And every time, and I'm gonna tell you guys something about getting on the Zoom calls, and then we're done. Getting on Zoom calls, I do it for two reasons. One is because I have tons of respect for Next Level Leadership, for Mr. Chad Shapiro, for Mr. Marwan Powell, Miss Marita's of the world. I have tons of respect for that. So that's one of the reasons why I'm here. But the second reason why I focus on these events is because they make me better. I just told you about focus. It's something that I've been learning on the past weekend, over Thanksgiving weekend. How can I shift my focus, or where's my focus on that I need to change certain things to be better, a better person, a better entrepreneur, have a better business, be able to give more to my community, right? So if I'm not focusing on those things, I go into these events, find out this is making me better because I want to become a better communicator. I want to become a better giver, right? What are we sharing with people? And this same content, I'm putting it on my Facebook group so that way I can repurpose that content. I'm focusing on how can make this not just a 30-minute show. I don't want to be a show. If you're not impacting people, you just become a show, right? Like, and I know that Mr. Chad Shapiro would love to do that too. And he does exactly that. He does it all the time because he wants to impact. Are you wanting to impact? What are you doing in your business to impact the world, right? Because there's too many people out there. You guys know what I'm talking about. Everybody thinks they're influencer now, right? Everybody's an influencer. Those that are really influencing people, they change lives. I don't want to be an influencer. I don't want to be this. I just don't know that, you know, that's why I don't think all of us were called to be that, right? I want to be able to impact and leave a legacy by focusing on the right thing. And what we think about and what we focus on magnifies. So what are we going to magnify for the end of 2021? Are you going to be half stepping into December for January 1st? I'm going to start January 1st. Why are you even starting? You should have started today. What is the difference between January 1st and November 30th? It's just another day. But what we focus on, I know that if I start in January 1st, my business is going to skyrocket. it's not going to skyrocket because you have the same focus that you did in November 30th. So what's the difference? Oh, wait, I'll start focusing on January 1st. Why January 1st? Don't lose focus right now of your business. Don't lose focus. This is the time that you got to show up for people. This is the time that you got to show up for your business, even if it takes more work, because now you have to go to A party, B party, C party, D party, E party, all these parties that you got going on. Don't lose focus of that, because those parties are still going to be there next year, still going to be there. Yes, go see your family, go talk to them and all, but stay focused on what you need to do for the rest of 2021 and be one step ahead of everybody for 2022. That's my focus. That was my intention for today too, because I know a lot of people, and I'm saying it because I see it all the time. Like I see all these coaches kind of like not doing the work they were doing just even a week ago. And I'm like, what's going on? What's going on is they lost the focus. They're like, oh, shifting. Oh man, this feels good, relaxing and so forth. I was just waiting to get back on Sunday night because I have so much work to do, so much catch up. It's 10:31. I hope that something I can say will impact you to figure out what you're focusing, to build that foundation, to build that the roadmap for 2022. Because if you don't plan, you plan to fail. Don't lose focus on what you have right now. Nothing's perfect, but we can be better for each individual one of us in our community and for those people that we're impacting, right? Go get you focused on, because what you focus on magnifies. And with that said, I want to thank you for just jumping on, for commenting. But more than anything, let's go and help impact the world, because we're going to impact it, whether it's negative or positive. And if we're not doing it, we're always waiting for the government to do something about it. But what about us? What are we doing to impact that? What are we doing to help the world to become better? Because it starts with one person, that's us. What are we doing? What are you doing? What are you focusing on this day? Thank you so much for jumping on, and I hope to see you guys next week. I think today's Tuesday to Thursday. Mr. Marwan Powell will be on, and hope to see you guys soon. Stay focused, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Ciao for now. Have an amazing rest of the day.